Where in your life do you or do you not have or see freedom?
Kind of harsh question, because in my daily life there are so many boundaries, things I have to do, taking care of things, etc. But I do feel a sense of freedom as I can speak what I want, I can say what I want, I can go wherever I want to go, which is, I think, a very luckily situation. I got the financial means to travel, and this makes me kind of giving me a good sense of freedom. Although I read in the newspaper every day awful news around me, Ukraine, which isn't too far from Belgium, a missile away. On the other hand, the Mediterranean Sea, Gaza, there's a lot of bad things going around, which makes that the news around me is very dark. It's very, you got a right-wing politicians coming up in Europe, giving us a very gloomy view on the future. And that frightens me and my sense of freedom.
Does judgment from society restrict your freedom to present yourself how you wish? If so, or if not, why?
You got a lot of negative examples in society of where things go wrong. And I always try to look for things that go right or go to the benefit of our democracy and to the benefit of thinking freely. And these examples are much more harder to find as governments are, by means of budget, more restrictive, etc. So it is kind of hard to see light at the end of the tunnel. I am a grandfather and I wish all the best for my sons, who are a bit less frightened in life because they're young and they don't see all these gloomy things. I'm also a grandfather, and then I think a child of 2-3 years old living right now in this era and society, where will they end up within 20 years? How will society will look for them? And that is what I might be a little bit afraid of. And I live with the hope that they will enjoy the same freedom that we as grandparents are enjoying now.
How do you think freedom has changed since World War II or in your lifetime?
Kind of difficult to define freedom. Of course, for people who went through the war, it was an awful time. But then the last 80 years since World War II, we have this freedom of traveling around and thinking and saying what we like to say. I hope that this will remain. New right is putting a lot of stress on democracies in Europe. You see them in Hungary, Poland. You got a shift to the right, which frightens me. You got in all countries the asylum issue, which put a lot of strain on people and how we think on society and how welcoming a society should be. And now we could absorb all weird and strange influences of all these different cultures coming into our society. That kind of makes life a bit more complex than it used to be 60 years ago. Choices in life were very simple, and nowadays society and life is a lot more complex, meaning that being free or feeling free also becomes a lot more complex. You can read it in the newspaper. There's a lot more stress among youngsters than there used to be nowadays, due to the complexity of society. And therefore, to my modest opinion, freedom also becomes more and more difficult.
How do things such as race, gender, disability, sexuality and wealth affect your or other people's freedom?
Like I said, the world is becoming more and more complex. And complex is complex meaning also making it more difficult to make choices in life and to make the right choices. So that is limiting freedom as a way of thinking.
Can you tell me about a place or places that you do or don't have freedom?
Work. I do still work, and sometimes I don't have the freedom that I would like to do the work that I would like it to do. So there are always restraints. There are always borders and boundaries on what you do. On the other hand, I believe that there are boundaries are necessary to make life acceptable and livable for everybody. So, but there aren't many places where I don't feel that I can't be myself. So that's quite all right for me.